Hi ladies, welcome back to Bernina Club. Well, we are definitely getting into winter now. Things are getting a bit cooler and you ladies will be starting to get your jeans out of your wardrobe. But funnily enough, sometimes your jeans shrink in the wardrobe. And no fault of your own, of course, they just do. So I came up with a cunning, quick little way of making your jeans fit and helping you through those times when they're feeling a little bit tight. So I was helping out a friend the other day who wanted her jeans made into maternity jeans, and it just got me thinking about anybody's clothing that may have shrunk in the wardrobe. So you can relate what I'm going to show you to your denim skirts or to your ordinary clothing if you like, but it's a very, very simple idea. I'm going to use white elastic today, but you wouldn't actually use that on your denim, you'd use black. So this is a 4-inch wide elastic that we sell by the meter, and you probably only need to buy it, I'm just going to cut this a little bit, probably needs to be 2 inches wide. So I'm just going to trim that off because that's a little bit extreme. Now, so even if your jeans have got a pocket, you can still do this. Or if your jeans haven't got a pocket, you're going to do it as well. So I'll do it on the one with the pocket because it's harder. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a section of our jeans. Because let's face it, none of us will be tucking clothing into our jeans anymore. Those days are long gone. So here's my jeans pocket here. And I'm going to draw around here and I'm going to cut out a section of my jeans. So I have to be a little bit careful because I've got a stud on here. So what I do is I get my elastic about 2 inches wide and I just look at the size it's going to be so that I'm going to cut it back about 1/4 of an inch less than my jeans area. So I'm just going to put a pin here and this is where I'm going to stitch. So I'm just showing you on the elastic about the width you do it, and you're going to do the same to both sides of your trousers. Oops, just put a marking there. So can you see it's about 1/4 of an inch or 6 mils less than that. Then I'll put another pin here. Well, actually I'll put the pin this way because I'm going to sew up that way. And you can draw this on if you like. I just used a couple of pins. So you're going to stitch down here, and then you need to know how far down you're going to stitch. So lay your elastic on here that you're going to sew in, and you're going to stitch really close to your pocket, so it's going to be about 6 mils to 1 centimetre in from the bottom of your elastic. So just pop a pin in there as well. So this is just Robin's cheap version of making your pants fit. It's very, very simple. So I now want to stitch down here and across here and up here, and I want to cut out this section, and I'm going to replace it with elastic so my pants are nice and comfortable. So, and I'm not telling you all to put on weight, so this happens, by the way. That just happens sometimes. Or maybe you've got a husband that washes your clothes in hot water and they actually have shrunk. This is a good way of fixing it. Oh, someone's stolen my foot control. Just one moment, I'll just go and get it. There we go. I had a lady looking at one of our machines, so she had borrowed my foot control. Now, on your machines, if you've got a new computerized machine, when you push zigzag, it's going to preset it for you. So if you don't have a computerized machine that presets it, you're going to put your stitch length on 3 and your stitch width on 3, beg your pardon, onto zigzag, and your stitch length on 1.5. So my one's preset. As soon as I push zigzag, it presets it for me and I don't have to think. So now I'm just going to zigzag down, following where my pins are, right down to the bottom here. And I'm doing it in a different coloured thread so you can see it. Go right through your pocket that you never use. Back in the day, these pockets were used as a fob pocket. So the men used to put their fob watches in it. Not sure why women ever got a fob pocket, and men don't have fob watches anymore. So those pockets are really a bit obsolete, but they've been left as a design feature for all these years. So we don't need it anyway. So stitch along here, and you're going to go, turn my pin around the right way, you're going to go to the width of where we've pinned, put your needle down, lift your work. Oh, they've taken my knee control as well, that's alright, I'll get that in a minute. Put your foot down and continue sewing straight up to your waistband. Now I've got a jeans denim 90 needle in at the moment. Whenever I'm working with jeans, I'll use an 80 or a 90 needle, and today I've got a 90 needle in because I'm going to be sewing through a few layers. The jeans denim needle has like a coating on the outside, and it just flows through the thick fabric really easy. So sew right up to the top of your waistband and reverse it. And now I will show you what we've got. So I have done a zigzag, I've gone down, across and up, and I'll show you from the inside so you can see what we're going to cut out. Alright, now I'm just going to cut that completely out about 6 mils away from my stitching, or 1/4 of an inch. So just cut it out. And you're not going to have jeans that have got holes in them like mine, but I've been using this for a purpose this morning. So just cut it and then go down the other side, and you've cut out your piece of jeans. There we are. So you are left with a hole, one moment, with a hole on your jeans. Now this is how quick and easy it is. Just put right side to right side, and now I'm going to put my machine on to straight stitching, and I'm going to straight stitch down to the bottom of my elastic, and I do it from the wrong side because it's easier. So I'm just going to straight stitch down there. So put it back onto straight stitching, and stitch number 1 is straight stitching. And if you're doing this on an older machine, put your stitch length on 2 length, and then needle stop down function, and sew right down to the bottom of your elastic. It's too easy, and it's very cheating. It's a very quick way of making your trousers fit or your skirt fit. Now because we're dealing with an elastic, I'm going to zigzag down that edge as well so it doesn't fray. So pop it back onto stitch number 2 and just zigzag those edges together. You don't need to really use your overlock stitch, the zigzag stitch is fine. Just down to the bottom as far as you can reach, and cut your threads, and there you have your elastic already stitched on nice and firm. So you can see why you do this in black, you wouldn't put white on. And then to do the other side, simply put right side to right side, fold your trousers so they're over here and the raw edge is matching your raw edge of your trousers, and you're going to stitch with your straight stitch down this side. Very, very quick and easy to have a comfortable pair of pants. There is nothing worse than having tight jeans on. It actually makes you feel unwell. Now, when you're going to do this part, you just need to move your jeans around so that you're not going to catch anything underneath. So make sure you haven't folded your pants under. There we are. There we go. And when you come down to here, you just need to move your fabric out of the road. Go right down to the bottom and reverse. And then again, push number zigzag, stitch number 2, and zigzag down your raw edges. Alright. Too easy and too quick, and there you have made your pants so much more comfortable. Now some of the ladies said they're not even going to top stitch the rest down, but I probably would, but I'll just show you. Got threads everywhere. Right, so here's my, this was on this side, here's my pants, and there I have made a nice ease so that my trousers are going to fit. Then what I do is I just top stitch across this onto here, and it stretches. So you really don't need to do that, but I probably would, just so that it was nice and neat and tidy. All right, and you do the same to both sides. So I'll get a pair. I'll find a pair I've done both sides to show you. No, none of those. I've got so many pairs I've done that it's actually getting embarrassing. Here we go. So I've done them in white so you can see them, but you can imagine if your jeans are on and they're too tight, look at all the stretch you now have on them. That's very, very good. So any jeans that don't fit, don't throw them out anymore. Just put nice black elastic on there, and you're going to wear tops that are longer. No one is ever going to know. So I think it's a good idea. So that idea just came to me after helping a friend with maternity pants, but instead of tight elastic, we put in ribbing. All right, so that's one idea. Now, what I did then was I got an old pair of jeans, and I went, well, I've got this old pair of jeans that I've bought, and I'm never going to wear them again because they've got rips in certain places and different reasons I'm never going to wear them. So don't waste them. So what I want you to do is I want you to cut out your pocket, your back pocket, completely cut it out, because that pocket is going to become your new oven mitt. So there's your pocket. Now you want to get some more fabric for the back of your oven mitt, so you cut out your leg. So you're never going to be wasting your fabric. So good. And if you don't have any jeans to cut up, they are $2 to $5 at the op shop. I'm not kidding. I've been buying these for days and days from the op shop, and the most I've spent is $5. It's crazy. Now I've been very, very spoilt this week, because one of my ladies has made me this wonderful bin here that I'd like you to have a look at, and she's put it on wheels. Whoops. She's put it on wheels, and she's covered it with some of our actual beautiful fabric. I was expecting her to give me an empty bin that I had to decorate, and she's done it all for me. She's made a beautiful lid and put a door handle on to lift it off, and she's used old threads, and she's used that for the top of the lid so that it sits down on here, and I think it's fabulous. So I've decided I'm using this for my wadding, and I've stored all my wadding in here. So the wadding I want to use today is Insulbright or wool wadding. So I'm going to use a piece of Insulbright today, and that piece would be big enough, but I'm a Scrooge, and I'm going to sew together 2 pieces of Insulbright so that I don't waste the Insulbright. So I've got scraps of Insulbright. I love using up everything, and so I'm going to stitch these together. So if you haven't got enough, just simply butt them together, and I'm going to use what's called the running zigzag. So I'm just going to put it onto here, and the running zigzag stitch is also called the serpentine stitch. And when you put it onto your machine, if it's preset, it's going to preset it out to 5 width and about nearly 0. So we want to make it longer, so we're going to make the stitch length 1.5 or 2. We're going to make it 2 and the width 4. So 4 width and 2 length, and then you just butt your fabric together, or your wadding together, and you just stitch down, and it will be all sewn together, and you don't waste any. Brilliant. So I patchwork things together regularly. Oh, I missed that first bit. That wasn't very clever. We'll just go back and do it. There we go. So if you need to go back and do it a second time, I should have left it a bit wider. Perfect. Now that's all stitched together. Too good. Now my very scientific pattern is this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 1 circle from my plate out of my Insulbright, which is heat proof, so the heat's not going to burn me when I do my cooking. And about 17 years ago, I made an oven mitt out of, my dad passed away, and I made an oven mitt out of his jeans, and it's only just now needs replacing, so it's lasted for a very, very long time. I can't believe it's been that long, and I made it just after he passed away out of his old jeans, and I've used it every week since. So you're going to cut out your circle. Now, out of your jeans pocket, oops, there goes my pen. Out of your jeans pocket, you're going to position it because you want your hand to be able to go in the pocket to grab whatever it is you're getting out of the oven. So you want the pocket part to be about 2 inches lower than your circle. So you just lay that on there, plonk that onto there. Actually, I don't need my pen, I'm just going to cut that. And you want to center it onto your jeans and cut around there. So there's no scientific thing of doing this, you're just putting it on there and trimming around. And your backing will be the same size. And don't be too fussy because we're going to be zigzagging this all together and trimming it. So you don't have to do it perfectly at this stage, or at any stage actually. Okay, so just cut it around and go all the way around. You could even keep the waistband for something, but I'll tell you a really good trick. Don't get rid of these because they are very, very handy to put on bags to thread a braid through or anything. So they're a good thing to keep, those keepers, because they're quite hard to make because they are about 3 or 4 layers of denim, so they're handy to keep. So anything you're not going to reuse you can throw in the bin, and anything you might think you're going to reuse you can save. Now that is going to be the middle of my oven mitt. That is going to be the side where my pocket goes in, and then I need another piece of denim to go on the back, and you can cut that to size. But as we were doing our classes in the last couple of days, one of the ladies said, you know, to make it easier, because of another method I did, if you leave it the full size, you can just trim it when you're finished zigzagging. So take off your pocket, get your 505 spray, spray your wadding, put your pocket back on, and then turn this one over and spray it. And this just holds it all together. It's a non-toxic spray. Lay that onto your backing, and you don't even need to pin it. You can just simply put your machine onto zigzag, and you can zigzag right around the edge and trim it up afterwards. So you can make things easier and easier as you're making things by finding out easier ways to do it, and this is simple. So just lay it on top and zigzag around the edge, and again 3 width and 1.5 length. Too easy. So just go right round in a circle, and this just saves pinning. And sometimes your pocket won't be as short as this one, it'll be longer. You just sew through it, it doesn't matter. As long as your hand can get into the pocket to get things out of the oven. So these are very, very strong. Now once you've done that, you're going to find your scissors you've put down in a safe place. Oh, there they are. And you're going to cut right around that circle now. So this just means you haven't had to line anything up because you've made it nice and big. Too simple. Now we're going to bias binding this, use bias binding for this, and I'm going to explain about the different bias bindings because it's actually really, really important. And you don't want to put anything thicker than this in here because that's all the thickness you need, and you won't get burnt because you've used the heat-proof Insulbrite. Okay? So when you're buying bias binding, there are different types of bias binding, and this one is a polyester bias binding. Now you have to be very, very careful about using this because it might melt when you put heat on it. So one of my ladies had bought some and used it, and it actually melted as soon as she put the heat on it. And the other thing is, some of the polyester ones, they are very narrow inside, which means the fold line only comes to part way. So when you turn it over to top stitch it, you get a bit of a wrinkle crinkle. If you buy the slightly dearer one, so this is 90 cents. If you buy the slightly dearer one at $1.30, the whole fabric is a lot firmer and it has a much better allowance inside, which makes it stronger and it makes it better to stitch on a circle. So I need to make a tag, so I'm going to make my tag about that long. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to top stitch down. I'll just leave this bright blue thread on, put my machine on straight sewing, and I'm going to put my needle position to the right, and I'm just going to edge stitch down the side there. So I'm just going to hold my threads to start sewing, and I'm lining it up with the inside of my foot. So it's just a quick, easy top stitch. There we go. And cut my thread with my thread cutters, and then just fold this over like that. Now I'm going to position that on the top of my pocket in the center, so it's about there, and I just put right sides together, and I'm just going to stitch that in now so I don't have to worry about it later on. Put it onto zigzag. There we are. So that's all stitched on. And there you have your little hanger, which I'm going to fold up later. Now when you're sewing bias binding, work from the wrong side and turn it to the right side for top stitching. So when I'm working on this particular bias binding, most bias bindings have a wider fold line on one side. That is the side you want to stitch on. So I'm going to open that out and I'm going to fold this back. But I don't want to fold it back so this is even. I want to fold it back so that goes on an angle like that. Can you see that? So you're not folding it straight, because otherwise that little bit will pop out when you come around to finish it. You turn it and fold it like that. I'm still going to stitch down here, but I've got it sticking out. Just makes it so much easier. So find out where the top is, and you're going to start sewing from that point. So I will just show you. You're going to line up your needle so it's going to sew in the fold of your fabric. So straight sewing, center needle position, and it's pretty much a foot width, to tell you the truth. If you've got needle stop down, ladies, use it. It's fantastic. So needle stop down allows you to regroup and move everything out of the road. Alright, so you just do not need to pin it. It actually makes it hard to pin. It's much easier if you just stitch it and stop and stitch it and stop. Go all the way around. And when you go to finish it, you're actually going to overlap it and veer it off into an angle as well. So cut that thread and cut that bit of fabric now, get rid of that. And when you come around to finish it, you're going to overlap it, which I'll try and show you nicely so you can actually see. Should have put a brighter colour bias on this one. I've got bright thread, so you should be able to see that. So come all the way around. Now when we come to finish this off, I'm just going to show you. So you're coming around to here. I'll take it out and show you because it's not going to be easy for you to see. I'll just go like that. Now, so when you come around to finish, you want to just sew like that. That's what your normal thoughts are. But sometimes it gets too thick and bulky in here. So what I do is I bring my bias binding and I meet my bias binding here just at the join part, and then I veer the rest of the bias binding down and I get all the bulk out of the road. Oops, I'll just try and do it. It's quite hard to do it holding it up. So I only meet that first little part there, and then I just veer the rest all completely out of the road. You don't need it. And what happens then when you roll it over, you haven't got all the bulk. Alright, so I'll quickly show you how to do that. So I just continue to sew. I'll take that pin out because I just do it. So I start sewing there. I just managed to go past where it meets, and then I roll it down and I come like that. So my bias binding always looks a bit weird because it's on an angle, and I trim it. That's where I stopped. I'll cut that. And now watch how easy it is. I roll this over and I use my running stitch or my serpentine stitch and I sew around my bias. So now can you see when I roll that over how neat and tidy that is? Very, very neat and tidy. So I start here, sew around, flip this up and top stitch it. So I'll just show you that. Running zigzag, and away you go. Now set your zigzag so it suits your width. So I'm going to go to 5 width and leave it on 2 length. And away I go, all the way around. Very, very quick and easy. And the beauty of this particular one is you can't, it's not going to be too soft. So come all the way around. Cut your threads before you get to the other end, and then flip your little tag up and continue to sew, and you have finished and made a cool as oven. Very quick and very, very easy. Oop, just pull that over a little bit, over that thick bulk there, and then fold your little lever, your little tag up, and then just lift your foot to go over that little tag, and because you've got a lovely thick needle in, it's not going to hurt at all. And there you have made your little oven mitt. There you go. So it's really, really cute, and your hand goes in the pocket and you've got your insole bright in there, and you can get your things out of the oven nice and easy. So it's very clever. So I saw that picture on Pinterest and I thought I had to show you, seeing I was working with denims today. So ladies, grab a cup of tea and I'm going to come back and show you other things to do with denim.